Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's Rendezvous. 1 million by 1 million rendezvous. This is an online rendezvous, something we've been playing with in person a little bit in Silicon Valley. Very informal, just chatting about questions. I've been thinking about what we want to discuss in these. I want to interact with you and listen to what you have in terms of questions in your mind. And I'm going to pick some questions that I have seen come up and start kind of discussing those issues in these sessions to some extent. We'll bring you some case studies and so forth. But I really would like to hear from you on what's on your mind, what kinds of questions would you like to discuss, and so forth. So give me a moment and I will get you started with the first question. Does not equal sexism. And I'm stating the obvious, right? Or at least what should be obvious, that rejection by venture capitalists does not automatically equate to sexism. However, of late, the media has started sensationalizing a lot of stories of VC rejection and transposing them as stories of sexism. These are two different issues, and the cause-effect relationship of the two are ambiguous at best. In some of the stories, the VCs have exhibited rather stupid behavior, no doubt. However, did they reject the deals because the entrepreneurs were women? Or not? Or for real reasons, where deals should be rejected for business fundamental reasons? I don't think they were rejected because they were women. So let's examine a bit more detail. And in that context, I want to remind you of something very important for this industry. Funding rejection statistics of key players. Just to put things in perspective, I just want to share some statistics with you. You've often heard me say that over 99% of the entrepreneurs who seek financing are rejected. This post that I shared in 2014 has some of these statistics. I'm going to share some of the statistics with you. Y Combinator. Y Combinator rejection statistics is 97.15%. AngelList. Most of the startups on AngelList don't get funded, just as most of the startups anywhere don't get funded. That number is 98.8%. Andreessen Horowitz rejection statistic is 99.3%. And here's a quote from Mark Anderson. At our venture capital firm, and I quote, "We only invest in a sort of Silicon Valley-style tech. We see 3,000 inbound deals a year, and those are inbound and coming through our referral network. So those are sort of pre-qualified. We can do maybe 15 or 20 investments out of the 3,000 a year. So I like to say, our day job is crushing entrepreneurs' hopes and dreams. Our main skill is saying no and getting people to not hate us." Source: Inside the Mind of Mark Andreessen in Fortune Management. So that's just 3 examples. And if you run these numbers with other firms, other investors, you will see these kinds of numbers. And they're not encouraging numbers, but that is the reality, that is the truth. These are gender-neutral sets of statistics for rejection. The reasons of rejection typically are a variety of, or variations on a few different reasons. Businesses are too early, too small, too slow growth. Basically, VCs are trying to go from $0 to $100 million in 5 to 7 years. And if your business doesn't feel like one that is going to do that, they're going to reject you. And that is just the reality. One of my favorite stories is a September 2014 piece in Forbes about Rendezvous, which opens as follows. 5 years ago, Jennifer Hyman was a 29-year-old Harvard Business School graduate with no experience in fashion or technology, pitching her startup, Rent the Runway, to a boardroom full of partners at a big-time Boston VC firm. The idea then, as now, was to buy designer dresses wholesale and rent them over the web for a night or two for a fraction of the price. When Hyman was about to get to the part where she explained how many inventory turns she could get from a Diane von Furstenberg, one of the men interrupted the presentation, cupped her hand in his and said, "You're just too cute. You get this big closet and get to play with all these dresses and then wear whatever you want. This must be so much fun." Hyman now laughs about it, doing an imitation of the guy in a baby doll octave. But at the time, she was floored. Weeks before the patronizing VC trapped her hand in his grip, Hyman had gotten 6 term sheets from some of the country's best venture capital firms, which valued her big closet at $50 million. The comment left her more driven than before, opposed to screaming and shouting about inherent sexism in the entrepreneurship world. I thought, she quotes, "Let's work it. Let's build the most kick-ass logistics company in the whole world, and then we'll reveal what's under the dress." Unquote. Well, when Jennifer describes about the guy who interrupted her and tapped her hand, there's actually not one issue, but 2. Firstly, the guy didn't get her business. That happens regularly with VCs. Mark Benioff got rejected by 27 VCs when he shopped Salesforce.com around back in 1999. Many VCs today claim eBay in their anti-portfolio, a portfolio of companies they rejected, but that eventually went on to become not just big, but gigantic. The truth is, venture capital is a very difficult business. To see the future as a founder sees it is extremely difficult, especially in domains that one has no experience in. This man, this male VC who rejected Jennifer, clearly had no experience in the designer fashion industry. Very few VCs actually do have experience with the fashion business. I recently wrote an article on this topic, only online fashion, a venture scale opportunity that Silicon Valley does not understand. Well, I should have said tech VCs instead of Silicon Valley VCs. Tech VCs don't understand the fashion business, and more often than not, male VCs tend not to understand the fashion business either. In fact, it is a well-known fact in the venture business that if you have a truly good contrarian idea that will be path-breaking, a lot of VCs will reject that idea. That's not necessarily a bad thing. You will not have to contend with 35 venture-funded competitors in the market. Jennifer clearly had an excellent idea, and some VCs saw it as such. The one who didn't, whom she describes in the Forbes story, did not get the idea. That in itself is not sexism. How he chose to communicate it to her was sexism. In fact, it was utterly stupid. And the distinction is very important for us to consider. I've read many other stories of women entrepreneurs getting rejected by VCs who report the rejections as instances of sexism. In many of those cases, I went and looked at the businesses of those entrepreneurs. Often, I concluded that I too would have rejected to invest in those businesses. I do not want to call out specific scenarios to illustrate this out of respect for the entrepreneurs who are working on these ideas. My advice to them, however, is not to use sexism as an excuse and hide behind it. Instead, it would serve them well to be intellectually honest about the flaws in their business logic and address those. In many of these reported cases also, there are instances of utterly stupid behavior on the part of the VCs that does reflect sexism. However, that sexism is not necessarily what drives the rejection. The point I want to make, in summary, is that women entrepreneurs should not use sexism as a way to explain why they're getting rejected by VCs. It's an easy out. The real journey of a serious entrepreneur is far more complex. Jennifer Hyman has made that journey with commendable intellectual honesty and persistence. She has built a unicorn company, immensely successful. She has validated her assumption that women would want to rent designer clothing as opposed to buy them. All of these are great accomplishments. And if you're a woman entrepreneur and you're facing a lot of investor rejections, please feel free to come discuss your business with me at one of my free online roundtables. Every week, we do free online roundtables. Go to our website, 1mby1n.com, and go to the free public roundtable page. The whole schedule is there. You can register to pitch or to attend, and I'll be happy to go over your business, give you my advice, point out what may be going wrong, what you need to address, what you need to fix. But this is the best thing you can do if you have doubts about why you're getting rejected, instead of drawing the conclusion that you're getting rejected because you're a woman. I don't agree with that most of the time. Leave aside the sexism issue for now. It isn't productive to complain about it. Let's work on your business and make you successful instead. Once you're successful, do what Jennifer did. Give an interview to Forbes and tell them how you overcame the odds, including your experiences with sexism. Those tend to make very good stories and media loves them. Okay, well, just to set the context for those of you who are joining later in the program, this is the 1 million by 1 million online rendezvous. We are meeting here to discuss issues of the entrepreneurship world. I want to hear from you, your questions, your comments, your feedback. What issues are you struggling with? And feel free to use the comments to dialogue, provide the questions, and in due course, as I'm going along, I will answer them. And we're going to try to do this frequently, these sessions frequently, live sessions, so that we can, continue the dialogue online. And of course, every Thursday you can come to the free public roundtables, and I will work on your business with you and give you the strategic feedback that you might be able to help to accelerate, might be able to use to accelerate your business. We'll go to another question in a moment. Million by 1 million program, you know that we emphasize bootstrapping quite seriously. Our mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million and beyond in annual revenue. Very often, that first million you're going to have to do by bootstrapping. And sometimes the issue arises that before you go raise funding, try to grow in other ways, you get an acquisition offer because your strategy fits well with some other large company. That's a very desirable situation. So with bootstrapping to exit is something that I want to discuss, and it's something that is worth discussing. Over the last decade and more, I've had the privilege of working with a large number of entrepreneurs. These include self-financed companies and also modestly capitalized startups that operate in a capital-efficient manner, applying the principles of bootstrapping. By the way, the principles of bootstrapping, if you are not familiar with them, you can review my bootstrapping course on LinkedIn. If you go to LinkedIn Learning or lynda.com and you go to Sramana Mitra on bootstrapping, you will see there's a 1-hour course. It's a fabulous course. Maureen, if you could provide that link in the comments, that would be great. For our seed capital series of blogs and podcasts, this is again available on the blog. If you go to the website and go to seed capital on the blog, you will find all this. I've interviewed hundreds of investors, especially micro VCs and angels who are playing in the early stage game. I've asked all of them the following questions. The commercial internet has now been around for 25 years. Lots of stuff have already been built. Nowadays, there aren't so many wide open opportunities out there, but there are many, many niche opportunities. Some of these businesses need to be built for very small amounts of capital. Invest 1 to 2 million and sell for 10 to 15 million. Do you have appetite for this type of investment? What about a notch smaller? Invest 250K to 500K and sell for 5 to 10 million. What about a notch larger? Invest 5 to 10 million and sell for 50 to 60 million. All these interviews are available on the blog and as podcasts. As I expected, a large number of investors are still chasing unicorns. They're interested in investing in companies that will go to from 0 to 100 million in 5 to 7 years and inherently need a $1 billion TAM, total available market. And they will consume a great deal of capital in the quest of hitting that coveted $1 billion valuation mark. However, I'm pleased to report that I've spoken with a number of investors who recognize the niche opportunities and answer yes to my questions that I just described to you. Yes, they're interested in investing in small amounts and harvesting through smaller exits. In that strategy is the recognition that most acquisitions happen in the sub 50 million price range. Therefore, for all stakeholders to make money, a capital efficient strategy is required. I've also spoken with a number of CEOs and board members of public and pre-IPO companies on what they want to acquire. While the larger companies need to acquire significant amounts of revenue, in the smaller companies, let's say 100 to 300 million revenue companies, often there's a different issue. A $100 million SaaS company quite likely is making most of its revenues from one product. To thrive as a public entity, it faces tremendous pressure to broaden its product line and find 1 or 2 additional 100 million to 200 million businesses. How would they do that? The market, of course, is full of heavily funded SaaS startups with very high valuation expectations. Most of these are not affordable for a small, recently public or pre-IPO company. Instead, a small capital-efficient startup that has shown product market fit in a domain with strategic alignment is far more interesting as an acquisition target. That is a reality that you, as entrepreneurs, will need to internalize. Capital-efficient startups. Are you considering the bootstrapping to exit path, or are you obsessing over unicorns? Please take this question very seriously as you are strategizing about where you want to go with your business. And small public or pre-IPO companies, 100 to 200 million in revenue, let's say, are you able to find small capital-efficient startups to acquire? This is kind of my context and summary for the bootstrapping to exit question. If you have questions, feel free to ask, and I will answer in due course. Are you all able to see the broadcast, the video, the questions, etc., in the public chat? just answer in the comment section so that we get a bit of feedback on, LinkedIn is trying this for a month. It's a beta product. This LinkedIn Live video is a beta product. So can you hear me? You cannot see the video. Can you hear me? Could you answer if you're able to hear me? Huh. So Maureen, should I keep going or should we stop and work with LinkedIn to address the issues, the technical issues and social life? I could do more questions. I have a few more questions that I could go with. All right, we'll keep going and let's see where where we end up. Let's go next question, Maureen. Kids and women are very strong feelings on this topic. So I'll take you back to the opening prologue of my Feminine Feminism book, and it's called Talented Women, Please Do Not Quit. Now, again, I will preface that by saying this is my point of view. There are lots of people who believe that, raising women as a full-time job is just as important as going out to work for women. So I will just tell you what my observation is about society in general and about these choices that people are making. 5 years ago, and this is I'm writing in 2013, this is because an excerpt from my Feminine Feminism book. So it's not 5 years ago, it's almost 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, actually. A good friend of mine hanged herself. I had coffee with her the day before. She was married to a successful Silicon Valley entrepreneur who ran a couple of major companies and had a brilliant career. She did not work, but on the surface, they had everything. I knew both of them well. It was a deeply disturbing incident that shook us all up. 5 years passed. I have observed society around us closely, and today I'm writing this with a certain amount of lingering sadness. One of the greatest defeats of the feminist movement in America has been the phenomenon that women in the 30s are quitting the workforce in large numbers. Many of them are highly educated, and just as they acquire sufficient experience to take on more substantial roles, the body clock sets off an alarm. Time to have babies. Women are programmed to want to have children. There is no point in denying or defying this logic and biology. Whatever it is that the feminists want women to do, asking them not to have children isn't something that will gain any traction. And if you have children, those children need to be raised. Unlike societies like India, where the extended family is deeply integrated into the fabric of society and where domestic help is affordable and abundant, Western societies tend to consist of more nuclear families. Help is limited, child care is expensive. Faced with a complex, struggling challenge, women often abandon their professional lives and become full-time mothers. Paying for childcare, feeling guilty about not being there for the children, peer pressure from other women who are full-time moms, all eventually catch up with them They quit their jobs in search of a less stressful existence. In some cases, and this situation is particularly prevalent in places like Silicon Valley and Wall Street, where wealth flows abundantly, women quit because there is no real pressure to earn money. The husband earns enough. The family can afford childcare, but that doesn't put a stop to hostile glares from other full-time moms. Even supposedly high-powered women like Sheryl Sandberg have been known to succumb to this kind of peer pressure and feel guilty. Once again, many women quit in response. Also, some families do not believe in outsourced childcare, especially immigrant families who want to impart the culture of another country into the children, have to invest time and energy in doing so personally. Children of Indian or French parents raised by Mexican nannies are subject to tremendous clashes of culture, not to mention language development challenges. Add to that the notion of cross-cultural families, where there are already two different cultures to navigate. If nanny introduces a third culture, kids can get quite confused. Then there is the option of a stay-at-home dad, of course. However, a large percentage of women are not drawn to the dynamic of a male partner not working. This is a bias that both nature and society have developed from the Stone Ages. Men are supposed to hunt. Now, in the 21st century, it is okay for women to hunt, but my observation is that men who just gather do not turn on most women. It is important to be turned on by your mate. In short, raising children while maintaining a serious career is and will continue to be complex for women forever. The temptation to quit will always beckon. What happens if you do? My friend Renee Fields worked in Wall Street. In her 30s, she married and supported the dreams of a man who has since become a successful Silicon Valley entrepreneur. Now in her 50s, Renee has raised 4 children. Along the way, gave up her professional career. She says that she has regretted giving up her career and staying at home, driving kids around all day long to their schools and activities, feeling intellectually starved. By the time her husband comes home from an exhausting day at work, Renee is longing for adult company, stimulation, and engagement. But her husband wants to chill. The most telling observation from Renee's experience is the identity crisis that she has experienced. From a Wall Street trading desk to this domestic swirl has been mind-numbing, she says. While most women are unwilling to admit to their regrets, Renee speaks freely. She speaks candidly. Going to lunch with other bored housewives is just not interesting to me. It offers a window into the large-scale identity crisis that a generation of women is going through. They have made the choice to quit. They have raised children. In the process, they have lost one of the most fundamental secrets of human happiness, the sense of self. My friend who killed herself had no sense of self left. She did not do anything with her talents. She had raised 2 great kids. Once they left, she had no identity of her own. A few months ago, I met Jana Francis, founder and CEO of online daily deal site, Steals.com. Her story is one that I find both inspiring and instructional to those women who have perhaps already made the choice of quitting or are contemplating doing so. The motivation for Steals.com came to Jana Francis right after she had a daughter, the 3rd child, when she had to head back to work at the end of her maternity leave. She realized she was a smart, capable woman who could work from home. Once she started thinking along those lines, the ideas started to flow. Jana has always been the one who you could count on for online shopping deals. Her friends called her the dot-com princess. But when it came to online shopping in the baby space, she was disappointed. There was no website that would tell you the story of the product, why you would want it, what problem it would solve for you, and offer great deals. She developed a burning desire to create a new kind of website that would launch new deals every day, a steep 40%, 80% discount on premium baby products. With a full-time career and 3 kids, one of which was a newborn, Jana took 18 months to go from concept to creation. She partnered with Rhett Levenger, who at the time was an online media manager for a large e-commerce site, to launch Steals.com in April 2008. BabySteals.com was the first site to be launched, and as the business became profitable, more sites were launched. ScrapbookSteals.com, KidSteals.com, and SheSteals.com. The revenue in 2012 was $16.4 million. In 2013, I think, Jana had 70 full-time employees. Most of them were based out of Salt Lake City, Utah. Her webmaster was a former colleague who had left the company after her maternity leave. About 70% of her employees were women, and about 25% of them have had a baby in the recent 2 years. Being a completely bootstrapped company, Steals.com cannot offer its teams the best possible pay. But for most of them, the flexibility the company provides means a lot. Most of the customer service staff is able to work from home for 30 hours a week. Jana says, "For me, it is very rewarding to know that the situation I dreamed of myself is being provided for so many moms in Utah who could not have a job if they were not working here." What I like about Jana's story is that she has been able to have a flexible but fully engaging career herself by moving over to the entrepreneurship side. Additionally, she has leveraged her understanding of women's need for flexibility and desire to work and created a uniquely appealing culture in her company that is allowing many other women to continue working while raising children. So my suggestion to all you talented women facing the same dilemma: do not quit. Become an entrepreneur. Do not risk losing your sense of self. Work is not just for livelihood. It is as much a source of fundamental life force. This is an excerpt from Feminine Feminism, one of my entrepreneur journeys books. It's got, I think, about a dozen or more case studies of successful women who have, built entrepreneurial ventures in the course of their careers, and in the process, they have made certain decisions about having children, not having children, how to raise children, how to balance careers and children, entrepreneurship and children, and so forth. And by the way, virtual companies these days are extremely popular and widely accepted. So you don't really need to, worry too much about virtual companies not being accepted. Those are the 3 questions that I think I would like to stop at today. If you're still listening and if you have questions, I would like to hear from you, and I'd like to know what the questions are on your mind so that in the next session I can address them. We will continue to do more sessions, more live sessions, and interacting with you, engaging with you, and so on and so forth. So by all means, ask questions and come to the onebyone.com website. There's a free public roundtables tab. There you will find our roster of in those sessions we've been going. I had those since 2008, so we've done over 460 of these sessions. That's pretty much all I have to share with you today. Remember, one by one, our mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million and beyond in annual revenue. It is the first and only global virtual accelerator in the world, and we operate entirely virtually, except we do one thing that is physical, which is an in-person rendezvous in Silicon Valley If you go to Rendezvous on the website, you will find the schedule of that. Also, check out the self-assessment on our website. There's a series of questions that investors will ask you. You should ask these questions of yourselves. Thursday morning, 8 a.m. Pacific time is our next free public roundtable. I hope to see you there. Signing off today, this is Sramana Mitra, founder and CEO of 1 Million by 1 Million. Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us.